gentlemen, good evening to you and welcome to the Las Vegas Hilton for the featured attraction of the evening, brought to you by Don King Productions in association with the Las Vegas Hilton and Budweiser, the undisputed, undefeated king of beers. This bout coming your way is sanctioned by the World Boxing Association, the president Gilberto Mendoza, supervisor York Van Nixon, in conjunction with the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The chairman is Dr. Elias Ghanem, commissioners Dr. James Nave, Dr. Luther Mack, Lorenzo Fertitta, and Glenn Corano. The executive director, Mark Ratner. Introducing to you our physicians at ringside, we have Doctors Flip Omansky, Robert Voy, Margaret Goodman, and Al Capana. Timekeepers at the bell, also keeping count of the knockdowns, Al Bisick and Mike Lachella. Introducing to you at this time our three judges scoring this bout from ringside, Oscar Perez, Jerry Roth, and Melchior Taylor. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Junior Middleweight Championship of the World. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, it's showtime! Introducing to you at this time a referee in charge of this bout, Richard Steele. All right, fans, introducing to you the challenger on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, entering the ring wearing white trunks with red and blue trim, and hailing from Colon, Panama. He weighed in at the junior middleweight limit, 154 pounds even. His fine record stands at 22 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw, with 19 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the WBA #1 ranked junior middleweight contender, introducing tonight's challenger, Guillermo El Felino Jones. And his opponent across the ring, the defending champion in this 12-round rematch championship bout. He is fighting out of the red corner on my left, wearing white trunks and hailing from Salanches, France. He weighed in at a ready 153½ pounds. His record stands at 36 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw, with 31 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, he is making the 3rd defense of his title. Please welcome the defending WBA Junior Middleweight Champion of the World, Laurent Boudouani. And once again, a referee in charge, Richard Steele, now to give instructions.
Both of these are high, okay? I gave you instruction in the dressing room. I'm caution you again. Obey my commands at all times. Shake hands. Good luck.
You know something, Ferdy? I got to try that towel thing at the beach. That might work.
I tell you, it didn't help Sonny Liston with Clay. As soon as he took that off and he saw that Ali was bigger than he was, a little wind got out of his sails.
He takes the towels off. He's 88 pounds. It's unbelievable. No, he has bulked up though. Boudouani frustrated throughout by Jones in that first fight.
Let's go, let's go.
He fought Jones too much going backwards, and the catchphrase was one and done. He just didn't follow up with the punches, waited too late to work the body, didn't throw the right hand enough. He favored the left hook, and he didn't make Jones think enough. But I'll say this about Boudouani, as you see the size difference right away. Down he goes. He does have a great chin. That was definitely not a knockdown. That was a slip.
And he's lucky that Steele counted it that way, because he got hit and went down. Now, whether it was a slip or not, he could have counted. And he didn't. So that's good. And he's right. And he's right. It was not a knockdown.
Boudouani awkward but strong, sometimes inconsistent, gets a little lackadaisical, pretty blasé going into that first Jones fight. But as you pointed out, very intense in the meeting yesterday heading into the rematch.
Oh, he wants this bad now. He wants to recoup his what he feels is his lost prestige. And he did lose some.
Jones is showing his mettle and a good chin in that first fight. Excellent jab, which is often an underrated weapon in the boxing game these days. There's the jab, looking to set up the explosive right. He says that's the key. Another key is that he's got to try to outstrength Boudouani. Jones said he wanted to come on and apply pressure earlier, but that's what Boudouani has to do as well, and you see he's attempting that.
And hitting. Boudouani's getting his shots in. He's getting the power shots in that weaken Jones. Jones is starting to fight tentative. He is not leading the dance here. Boudouani reacting and landing hard from time to time, which is getting Jones's attention.
Boudouani also missing wildly at times, too. He's got to be careful not to open himself up. Boudouani just said he doesn't know why he started so slow the first time against Jones. He just wasn't ready.
Psychological, he said it was psychological. I don't know what that means when somebody's pounding on your head.
Well, he said it's going to be different this time. He trained at home in France with his brother Yves, but he was surprised in the original meeting by that jab.
He went home to Mont Blanc in the shadow of the fountain pen he trained. And I tell you, he's so determined. It's a completely different. It's like he took up, and this is round 13. He took up from round 12. And now this is fighting the way he was fighting in round 12. Forward with everything he's got, throwing everything in every punch, trying to hurt, trying to hurt.
Well, this is a totally different Boudouani from the first fight. He's coming forward. He's not landing with everything, but he's making Jones think.
And Jones is not getting in the shots he did the first time. The first time, he just kept him dancing at the end of a jab. He's not doing that this time. He's coming right through the jab. There it is. Long punches, but they're landing.
And there's that overhand right as well. And Jones said he really got stung, got hurt in that first fight by Boudouani's overhand right. He's got to find a way to get out of the way of that one.
That was his main preoccupation in the interview. He said that overhand right hurts.
Yep. And now backs up against the rope. Boudouani scoring, but back comes the long jab on the right by Guillermo Jones. Everything. Uppercuts.
Whoa, both of them landed dynamite at the bell. Both of them landed at the bell. Wow, what a finish. But I think Boudouani had done too much, and he won that round.
Wild exchange at the bell. Both landing.
Now here was a slip that could have been counted, wasn't, and correctly so. It was a slip and knock. A knockdown. You will see it in a moment when we rack them up again. And here it comes. Watch, you see, it's not really a punch that does this. See, he cuffs him with his left, but it's nothing. It's like tripping over his feet. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Let's go to the end of the round, to that last action that was so good. That was give and take on the part of both men. Jones attacking, and Boudouani waiting to feel that ring rope on the back to begin his attack, and here he comes. See, that's perfect give and take. Came a little too late for Jones to take the round, but that's the kind of stuff he's got to have if he's going to win these rounds.
Jones taking full advantage of that long reach advantage in the first encounter. Boudouani came out sluggishly. Now he's coming out slugging as we enter into round number 2.
Well, Boudouani, no question about it, is a different fighter. The beginning of this fight, a totally different fighter.
And lately a blizzard of champions from France. 5 of the 18 since 1912, when they had their first champion, are current world title holders, including Laurent Boudouani. Many feel he's the best champion from France. Others feel it's cruiserweight champ Fabrice Tiozo. Other champs, Khalid Rahilou, Hassan Sharifi, and Jean-Baptiste Mendy from France. 5 champions from one country. That is astounding. These are hard left hooks on the inside by Boudouani. He wants to get Jones on the inside. And Jones wants to continue from the outside if possible with that jab.
Here's that jab, that long jab, backing. There it is again, twice, and then twice again, backing up. Boudouani, those are points gained. That's that right hand that he claims is his biggest shot.
That's being blocked by the left hand of Boudouani, but if that gets through, it could be trouble.
And let me tell you, feel it through that glove. I mean, that is a signature when it lands.
You get punched by your own glove, I would imagine.
You feel the power go through there. You feel the power. You know that this guy's got power. That's when he's got the right hand. But in the meantime, his left jab is educated.
Boudouani has never been down. He has been stopped a couple of times. Jones has never been down, but TKO'd once by a fellow named David Noel. Jones is 22-1-1 with 19 knockouts. Boudouani 36-2-1 with 31 KOs.
It's
off the top of the head with the overhand right by Boudouani.
It's Jones on the attack, though. It's Jones backing up Boudouani. Boudouani now slipping into that trap that he did last time, just going back.
Huge interest in this fight in Panama, the home country of Jones. Jones says he thrives on the pressure.
Jones taking that first 2 minutes of this round. He's chasing him on, and he's dancing him at the end of the jab. There was a hook and an uppercut in the right hand, another right hand by Jones. You see, Jones knows how to keep busy.
Terrific action, terrific exchanges in the first couple of rounds here with 40 seconds to go in round 2 for the WBA junior middleweight title.
Now this looks like the first fight in reverse. This looked like the first fight when Jones was having his way and Boudouani was falling back, falling back, falling back. He's lost this round by moving backwards all the time and letting the attack go to Jones.
It does not befit his style to backpedal. Talking about the champion, Laurent Boudouani. To be effective, he's got to come forward. He turns Jones around and slashes through with an overhand right. And that's the weapon that Jones fears the most. Just missed with the left, did Boudouani.
Fue el aire. Fue el aire duro, bota, abajo. Bota, fue el aire duro. Fue el aire. Guille, te está entregando con el hombre. Tiene que yapearlo más. Yapearlo más.
You're giving yourself up to this guy. You got to jab more.
Y tira el recto este en forma de gancho. De arriba hacia abajo. Tiene que yapearlo más, no te entregues.
You have to jab more.
Yapea al hombre más.
Jab him more.
Y vivo con el gancho del hombre. Tiene que estar cerrado adentro con el hombre que está con el gancho.
As soon as he gets inside, fire off the right hand, he says. And now we see the action, which is heating. And that's the right hand that's so hard of Jones. And back comes Boudouani. See, both of them, as they're getting closer, are right where they want to be, because Boudouani is his only chance to being close, and the other guy doesn't mind being close. He's got a hard right hand. There's a corner man stepping in both buckets at one time. Haven't seen that since Matt
or since Roberto Clemente.
Roberto. Wonderful man, Roberto Clemente.
Stepped in the bucket, but got the job done. Round 3, a fast pace thus far from these 154-pounders. But Boudouani seems committed to not give away the early rounds this time, as he did in the first fight back in February.
Well, he split them. He took the first, and Jones took the second. I mean, he's not in there with a guy that's willing to just give up. But Jones wants to take these titles and keep him on the end of the jab, like his corner just told him. Look how much harder the jab is this time than it's been. So all the corner said, jab hard, jab hard.
Well, 30 times have changed since Sonny Liston fought here at the Hilton, but fighters are still throwing punches with bad intentions, and we're seeing that here.
Probably couldn't get any worse intention than Sonny Liston had. Boy, could that guy punch.
And Jones punching away here at the head of Boudouani. Again, he puts Boudouani on the retreat. Boudouani then looking to come forward, but he backpedals again. He just cannot escape that long jab of Jones, looking to set up the big right. Oh, there's a pretty short right by Boudouani.
Overhand right over the jab, just exactly what Jones is trying to avoid and has been training to avoid. He got hit by just what he fears. The overhand right over the jab, and here comes the jab again. Look how long it is by the time he finishes throwing it.
Jones 6'4", 76.5-inch reach. Boudouani 5'10" with a 71-inch reach.
If that jab lands, Boudouani's got a long way to come back for a counterpunch. He's got to shorten that up. Once he gets in close, even if the jab lands, he can throw over.
Jones on the inside, pummeling away to the body into the head. Oh, there's a straight right by Boudouani. And that got the attention of Jones. Jones has a great chin.
Well, it moved his head back, and I thought he was really stunned by that pro. I mean, that was a great right hand by Boudouani.
Now again, Jones coming forward. Boudouani with some nice fancy footwork to escape the corner. Well, they're just toe-to-toe.
Well, it's mostly Jones right now. Jones is doing all the fighting, although every once in a while, Boudouani comes up with something really good.
And Jones says he's in better strength to go 12 rounds this time. He trained real hard for this one. Good left hand there by Boudouani.
Well, that happens to be true. Boudouani's in for a lot of trouble if he can keep this up.
Look at this pace.
I don't think he can keep this up. I don't think Jones can keep up this kind of pressure. That's what happened to him last time. He wore out round 10.
These fighters throwing punches in frenzied fashion right here. Approaching 20 seconds to go round 3.
But Jones dictating this fight. He's chasing him. He's doing what he wants. He's got the jab going, got the right hand. Sure, he gets hit every once in a while, but it's 4 or 5 punches to 1 right now. And it's Jones landing the 4 or 5 punches.
Jones just wailing away at the bell.
He got all of those punches in with nothing in return. That's what won him the round.
Well, 1 week from tonight, King Vision and SET pay-per-view present Evander the Real Deal Holyfield defending his WBA and IBF heavyweight titles against former WBO heavyweight champion Henry Akinwande from the Mecca of Boxing, Madison Square Garden in New York City. That's next Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, live on pay-per-view.
Ne va pas chercher large. D'abord devant toi, tu lui lèves la tête avec du geste du gauche. 1 ou 2.
Let's hear from our translator, Natalie.
Une fois, ce mec-là. T'as trop de classe. Et les jambes, tu vois pas qu'ils aient ploué dans les quand tu le balades.
Smarter than him. So you have to go with your nice boxing like you train in the gym.
Et puis après, devant toi, direct du gauche.
You go in front of you and you give him the left.
Tu vas lui faire. Fais un rond avec ton direct du gauche. Dans le nez précis.
You have to go with your left.
T'as compris? Tu le vois arriver maintenant.
Thank you, Nelly.
And we begin round 4. When Boudouani is able to get inside Jones' long jab, he's scoring with left hooks and short rights. Great. Let's see if Jones's punches are losing their sting as this fight wears on.
Well, in the middle, the mind game here that's going on is that Jones is dictating the pace of the fight and not Boudouani, and that's what happened to him last time. He let Jones tell him how to fight and dictate the pace and where and when to fight.
Bertie, the online scoring to this point has Jones ahead 2 rounds to 1.
Exactly. What brilliant people at home. I agree with them 100%. Great guys at home. Oh, nice right hand right off the ear of Boudouani. Boudouani falls back again to reset and eat another jab.
The championship is on the line. Boudouani, who many thought lost the first fight, but got a majority decision draw, battling here against Guillermo Jones in the rematch.
And just when Boudouani wants to come forward to do battle, Jones knows how to go back just enough to get away and disconcert Boudouani, who doesn't land punches.
Well, this Jones is like an octopus. He is non-stop action all over the place, smothering, relentless, never backs off.
Well, Boudouani's got to come forth. He's got to come forth. He just cannot sit there on the end of that jab and walk away from it. What's he doing? I mean, is he winning this round? No, he's running.
Well, this is what he did in the first fight.
Exactly.
Which really cost him.
Well, it's cost him 2 rounds so far. So he did all right the first round. He's got to untrack. He's got to throw something. If he doesn't throw anything, how can he expect to win?
We approach the final minute of the 4th. I understand that all 3 judges here have Jones ahead.
We know that already. Wow, look at the battle Jones is putting up. I mean, he is chasing him pillar to post.
Guillermo Jones all over Laurent Boudouani.
Look at the attack of Jones. Jones is after him. Boudouani's slippery, but he's getting cleaned out.
Let's see if Boudouani can weather this storm. He came back with a beautiful left to the chin of Jones, and Jones now just hanging on.
Boudouani's got to try to get lucky with those heavy punches. He's already bleeding from the nose. Last time it was his eye that closed. Now it's his nose that's bleeding. And he's got to fight back. He's got to try to find that opportunity and hope that a good, strong shot will shake up Jones and make him rethink this. So far, the strong shots are coming from Jones.
But every once in a while, Boudouani gets a big one in there that really gets Jones' attention. Jones obviously throwing more punches, but many more punches, but Boudouani every once in a while lands a sledgehammer.
Well, that's the only chance he's got fighting that way. And fighting that way, he's going to lose the title.
Tu sais pourquoi c'est ton meilleur round? Parce que tu t'en es même pas aperçu. Il t'a accroché.
Well, Jones is fighting with a flurry. I mean, it's fury and flurry. Watch the lefts and rights. Of course, watch Boudouani. He is defending most of them, but they're landing on his arms, on his gloves. Anywhere they land, it is more than he's doing. So watch this. You see, he seems to be able to throw punches from any angle, does Jones, and he won't quit. He just chases them from pillar to post. Not good for Boudouani. He's now lost 3 rounds in a row, and he's back to where he was in the original fight.
Let's see if we can hear the translation.
La classe est devant toi. Devant toi le direct.
we enter into round 5. Boy, a vicious overhand right that missed by Boudouani.
But exactly what he's got to do. He's got to throw that right hand. Even if he misses, he's got to come back and throw it again. Can't be discouraged. He's got to go after this guy because he cannot win this fight doing what he's doing. That's about 6 jabs in a row that landed on the forehead or nose. There's another 2. You can't just keep eating these jabs. He's got to come under him and try to punch.
Much slower pace to begin round 5 than the previous 4 rounds. Jones looks to be taking more of a cerebral approach here. Not as furious as he was earlier. Crowd very low-key. Wild miss there by Boudouani. We've seen a lot of that here.
Well, he's beating a tattoo on his forehead. There's no sense in getting too excited. I mean, that cannot be a benefit. Back comes Boudouani, but not enough. 2 punches and he quit. Got to keep going.
And that was the case in the first fight. It was one and done. Boudouani just refusing to follow up punches.
Refusing or unable to. I mean, he just doesn't have that quickness that makes you go for 2 and 3 and 4 punches. He quits after the first couple.
Missing with that right, but fortunately for Boudouani, Jones missing with the counter.
That would have been a heavy counter to take because he was coming in right as the counter was going out. That would have been devastating.
Once again, back to the textbook jab, the long jab by Jones. It is causing misery for Boudouani.
He can afford to take a round off. He's winning the round, barely fighting, just jabbing, jabbing, jabbing. The other guy taking each punch right on the head. He's going to get dizzy after a while. These things don't help you. Even the right that landed just then was a glancing right. It wasn't solid. And he needs a solid right or left. He needs something solid to get Jones' attention. Break up his rhythm of just jabbing and getting away with it.
Oh, there's a good left by Boudouani. He was just sort of waiting for his moment very patiently. He got a left hook in there to the jaw of Jones.
That's because Jones decided to throw a right and leave it there. He just went to sleep on it. He's so confident now. He just went to sleep on that and got hit with a counter punch.
Ooh, right uppercut by Guillermo Jones to the jaw.
Beautiful right uppercut.
But that's not going to bother Boudouani. He's got a great chin. Now look at Boudouani on the inside, but he's being tied up wisely by Jones as the bell sounds.
A jab festival.
Fue el aire duro. Fue el aire. Fue el aire. Bota. Déjame recuperarlo, Rubén. Espere.
Air. Give him air. Plenty air.
Bota. Fue el aire. Tiene que yapear más con más seguridad.
He said you got to jab more with more assurance.
Y levántalo con el upper de derecha.
He wants the right uppercut after us. Now let's watch Boudouani's feeble counterattack, if any. He got in a little sneaky left, but then couldn't follow it up with anything. Missed the next 2 punches and quit. That is not good. That is not good. And here comes the end of the round where there was, of any kind of fighting, precious little occurred along about here. Right now they're just looking at each other. It's just pictures. They're taking pictures. That was next to nothing. That was about as close to a non-fight as you can get fighting.
Round 6, Guillermo Jones continues to dominate the rounds. At the end of their first fight, we felt that he did the same thing, but he only came away with a draw. That was in Albuquerque. As you know, in boxing, especially to a challenger, a tie is nowhere near as good as kissing your sister. In fact, it's nothing. Round 6. Here's that jab upstairs and down by Jones.
Boudouani keeping his gloves way up high. They must be telling him in the corner, don't eat those jabs. Put your gloves up. Put the gloves up. And he's doing that. He's doing that right now. Gloves are higher. Watch him. Watch him.
Jones just physically overpowering Boudouani with that long jab. But the right hand doesn't have much mustard on it. Not there anyway.
Well, he doesn't need to. He's getting everything he wants is right here. He's punching and not getting hit.
But he feels his key punch is, even though the jab is exquisite, he feels, and he said in the meeting yesterday, that the right is the key.
Yeah, but that's if you're trying to knock the guy out. If you're winning like by a landslide, you don't need to take any risks. I mean, you could see this guy doing this the rest of the fight and walking out of here with a championship. And believe me, if he had Angelo Dundee in the corner, that's exactly what he would do. He's found a corner. He'd say, stick out the joint, but let's walk out with a championship. That's what we did with Jimmy Ellis and Jerry Quarry. We stunk it out, but we walked out the champions.
Boudouani very awkward, lunging. You can see lunging and missing. But just out of curiosity, let's see if Jones unleashes that right hand.
Well, I think if he gets stung by something that Boudouani does, then he'll come back. He then flashes back and gets into a fight. But while it's a one-way fight, he's just lulled himself to sleep. He's not even trying to knock this guy out or hurt him. He's just trying to win the round, and he's doing it again. Here's another minute left to go, and nothing from Boudouani. Now he's trying.
That's a good right hand by Boudouani.
And stay there and punch now.
But he didn't follow it up.
So this is when good cornermen scream, stay there, punch.
And a left hook by Boudouani. Now another right.
Two good shots.
Let's see if he throws a combination. A 1-2 or a 1-2-3.
Good shots by Boudouani. That's what he should have been doing right there. Good stuff by Boudouani.
And the crowd getting behind him. There's a slapping left hook, but one and done. Yeah. Where's the right?
And he waited till there was 30 seconds left to start it. I mean, when you blow the first 2 rounds, it's hard to win on just a good rally.
If you're Jones and all you got to think about is one punch, you're halfway there. Make him think about the right more often. And back we go to that long jab of Guillermo Jones.
So what Boudouani did was get himself started and then stopped on the only attack that could have done something for him, and didn't.
No knockdowns, only a slip by Boudouani in the first round. We'll take you into the red corner, the Boudouani corner. Our translator is the lovely Natalie.
The lovely Natalie.
De toi à moi, Laurent, quand tu as mis distance, est-ce que tu risques quelque chose?
When you are close to him, you don't risk anything. You have to stay close to him. You don't risk anything. Just stay close to him and follow like this.
C'est pareil. D'accord? Là, il faut enchaîner 2-3 coups. Ok, tu bouges un peu plus le buste. Et tu vas
move a little bit the body and just stay close to him and give him the punch.
D'accord? Tu décales et tu frappes. Là, tu vas le tomber.
You have to move your body just like we do in the gym.
And what he means is don't let him get that distance to get the jab off. Move your body in close. Cut the distance is what he's saying. Cut the distance.
We're halfway there, Ferdy. How's your scorecard?
59-55. I've got him winning every round except the first. Jones.
Well, in the first fight, 2 judges had Boudouani ahead at this point. The third had it even. So we'll see what happens from this point on. Round 7. And the folks at home have Jones ahead considerably. 5 rounds to 1 through the first 6.
Gosh, we got a lot of smart people watching this fight. I wonder if the judges are as smart as us.
You love kissing up to those fans at home, huh?
I may run for office one of the days. My own office.
There's that pesky jab again by Guillermo Jones. And now unloads the right to the body.
I like to see more do or die on the part of Boudouani. He hadn't gotten to that part where his brain is telling him, you know, you could lose this. You could lose the championship. He ain't got there yet. But he's edging very close, unless they think in the corner that somehow eating a jab nets you winning rounds.
He has been frustrated. Now in the second straight fight with young Guillermo Jones, who's just 26. Born in Cologne, Panama, also lives there. Looking to become the first junior middleweight champion from Panama since the legendary Roberto Duran, who's in attendance here tonight in the early 80s. And Duran will be on that June 6th Holyfield Akinwande card against WBA middleweight champ William Joppy a week from tonight, Madison Square Garden. Johnny Tapia also on the card, along with the queen of the ring, Christy Martin. Underneath the main event, Holyfield Akinwande.
And while you said that about 100 jabs landed, I mean, you know, nice little shot by.
Good right hand by Jones. There's another right hand by Jones.
He seems to want to mix it up now with Boudouani. And Boudouani backs away from him. Now when he was there, he backed away.
That's what I was alluding to
now
earlier.
He should come forward. Now punch.
Yeah, now he's really unloading more with the right hand, setting it up with the left jab. Let's see if we see more of that.
Don't hold him.
Final seconds, round 7. Boudouani, though, again, 1 or 2 quick punches, and then he's out of there.
And then he's eating jabs. You know what's curious? We got about 30 seconds. I want people to watch what happens. Boudouani puts his gloves up, and this guy goes right between them. You wonder what is the sense of having your gloves up if a jab is coming between them. Don't you think you can knock that down? Don't you think you could block that? It's called blocking a jab.
Watch your head.
And that is surprising based on the vast experience that he has.
A lot of heads been bumping right there. A lot of inside work by Jones. Inside work by Jones.
Time. Okay. He's the tallest. You got to watch his head. You got to watch your head.
Fue el aire duro. Fue el aire. Fue el aire duro. Bota suave. Fue el aire nuevo. Bota suave.
Well, there's a lot of bumping heads going on. They've been going on, but it's been very tough. In this round, it was really hard. Let's take a look and see if you can see it. If that's just going to end up in Boudouani being cut, because he's the one that's got scar tissue over there. It's not the other guy. Watch, boom. That's a National Football League bump. You know, that's a helmet in the head. Only these guys have got face scars.
Hay que ser primero, Guillermo. Hay que atacar más.
You got to be first. You got to be first.
Hay que pegar abajo fuerte para pararlo. Okay? Hay que estar con él.
There he is, 4-time world champion Roberto Duran, 47 years old. Also one of the greats from Panama. Cheering on his new friend, Guillermo Jones. Duran a week from tonight facing William Jumpy for the WBA middleweight title on the Holy Pelacan one-day card.
He's not one of the greats. He is the great. I mean, he is legendary. He's in his 3rd decade. My God.
Well, when you think of Panama, you think of 2 things. The Panama Canal and Roberto Duran.
That's very good. I never thought about that.
Not sure of the order.
I was thinking yellow fever. You know, I was thinking mosquitoes and things like that. The Panama Canal. I remember that.
Well, you were not there when they built it. Round 8 continues. There's a good right hand by Boudouani.
Boudouani can win this if he can knock the guy out. Otherwise, I don't see it. I mean, he's got to get lucky. One of those shots, he's got to stun him, and then he's got to swarm, and then he's got to finish him off. It doesn't look like that right now, but anything can happen. Got a long way to go.
Oh, there's a left. You know, Jones looks tired.
He should be.
He's been throwing so many punches, he may have worn himself out, and that might be Boudouani's big chance.
Well, that's what happened the last fight, remember? The last fight was 10, 11, and 12 belonged to Boudouani. He got stronger.
Let's see if Boudouani comes on here. He's blocking punches more frequently with his arms and his elbows. He looks a little more confident now.
Well, that's because the jab is a lot slower.
There it is. Combination.
The jab is slower, and Jones is fighting with his mouth wide open. Boy, is he going to get clocked there. That's
he's fatigued. He's exhausted, Jones, and Boudouani sensing the turnaround here. This should be interesting.
Well, that's where you can pop a jaw like that. Right
there it is. Straight right by Boudouani. He's landing with regularity now.
A nice right hand when your jaw is open can pop it.
Boudouani's looking for that big punches. A straight left hand.
Big round.
Jones back. Yes.
Big round for Boudouani. He's coming on now. This is what he wanted to do. Exert strength when the other guy got tired. Well, the other guy's tired.
Punch the way out.
Jones is tired. He's tired of pumping that jab out there 100 times around.
A whipping left hook that was a grazing punch by Boudouani.
Boudouani looking much fresher, even though he's been taking the shellacking.
And his defense has picked up. He's not as puzzled with that jab, but as you point out, that's because the jab is a lot slower now.
Yeah, he's not popping the jab anymore. He's slapping it out there.
Much more telegraphed. Now, Jones trying to come back with the right, but that mouth is wide open, which is usually a sign of fatigue on Jones's part.
Punch the way out.
Well, this is the first round since the first that Boudouani's looked good and taken the round. That should freshen him up when he gets in the corner.
And look at the way he's bouncing around on his feet, Boudouani. He seems very fresh right now.
Well, I mean, after taking that long shellacking, it's about time you get yours in.
Finishes with a combination to the head. Boudouani.
Good shot for Boudouani. Well, he's got his work cut out for him. He's got 9, 10, 11, and 12 to go.
We'll hear from Natalie, our translator.
He's good only when he's coming to you, so you don't have to let him come to you. When you are going ahead, you don't know how to do, so you have to follow like this run that you make. That's the way to win. He don't see you anymore, you know, he don't see your left hand, so you have to follow like this. You have to make the difference now. With your 2 hands. You have to make the difference now. The belt is for her, sir. Go ahead now.
All right, round 9. The 8th round was the champion's best round, possibly back to round 1. But here we go, round 9. Can Boudouani pick up where he left off?
Well, let's see if Jones can recoup and get a little extra gas in and go back to fighting hard. He was fighting very weak in that last round. That gave Boudouani the strength and the courage to come ahead. There's a good right hand by Boudouani. Good shot. There's another one.
Shotgun straight right by Boudouani that landed.
And
another big right hand by Boudouani. And Guillermo Jones staggered just momentarily right on the apex of the chin. Oh, he is having a field day with the face of Jones right now. But Jones showing mettle, coming back strong. Look at this display by Jones. Oh, brother.
He is coming back. This guy's got courage, and he was in trouble. He was in trouble, but he's come back.
And then back comes Boudouani with a straight right. Furious exchange.
The hole.
Frantic sequence here in round 9. Wild scene.
Excellent action as Jones looked like he was on the verge of collapse, came back and put things right, and now they're back even again, and it's Boudouani on the attack.
Both proving they have very durable chins.
Well, this thing looks like Boudouani could knock out Jones, but Jones could not knock out Boudouani. So from here on out, it's going to be a hard, hard fight.
The hole, the hole.
There's a twisting right uppercut by Boudouani. For the last couple of rounds, Boudouani landing often.
And doing what his corner told him. Come ahead, don't go back. Come ahead, that's when the only chance you got. And he's right, he's right. He's got to come forward.
And now he's being backed up by Jones. You talk about game.
Break.
Guillermo Jones under a siege earlier, but still fighting back and landing.
You're thinking close. Boudouani having all the advantage with those short, powerful arms, but he doesn't. Jones somehow manages to fight back inside.
Boudouani landing with hooks and uppercuts on the inside. Jones landing with hooks and uppercuts as well.
You know, this is a tough round to judge because each man is taking chunks of it all by himself. Property belongs to Boudouani, and then it belongs to Jones.
Boy, just a give and take round here, round 9. 10 seconds to go.
It's just that Boudouani's punches look like they're much more effective. I mean, Jones is landing more punches, but not effective punches. Boy, tough round. I give that one to Boudouani.
What a round.
Fue el aire duro.
Aire.
Bota, fue el aire.
Faltan 3 rounds.
Fue el aire, dale, fue el aire.
No te vayas a entregar,
Fue el aire.
Vamos,
Fue el aire, Guille.
poniendo huevo, Guille. Poniendo huevo.
All right, he says, you got to get courage. You got to get courage.
Toma agua.
Water.
Tómate el agua.
Drink it. Drink the water. All right, let's go back to that blow by blow, and this was action of the best sort. Boudouani coming forth with everything looking like he's got Jones in trouble. He's landing hard punches out of nowhere. Just when it looks like he's going for a knockout, back comes Jones with his series of punches. Now you watch how Jones somehow gathers himself together, and here he comes again. This is Jones's attack. Here is the charge of the Light Brigade here with everything he's got on it. Just when he looked like he was getting knocked out, he comes back. What a good round. Good, solid, best round of the fight.
The crowd here at the Las Vegas Hilton enjoying this spirited championship fight. The last 3 rounds, well, should have plenty of action too. It's round 10.
Well, it looks like we're heading back into a strange decision. It's teeter-tottering here. He's got 3 more rounds to go, and it's 84 to 87. He's got it 6-3. That's what I got at 6-3.
The folks are seeing a little closer suddenly now.
Yeah, because those last 2 rounds was Boudouani's best. He stopped going backwards, eating his jab, and came forward to win the fight. If he does it the rest of the way, we either got another draw in our hands, a very squeaky decision. Let's see what he's got.
Boudouani again looking to come forward.
His corners told him, see, when you went forward, you did good. When you go back, you lose those rounds. So he's coming forward. But you got to come forward through that jab. That ain't good.
And the cornermen are not eating the jab that Boudouani is.
Yep. He's back to putting in a good jab, is Jones. So he cannot punch slow. Jones, if he punches slow, he's going to get gonged over. You got to leave your calling card and go.
I don't want to say the jab is a lost art. It's an underrated weapon in boxing, but this guy knows how to do it.
Well, every great fighter had a great jab. Without it, you don't go anywhere. I mean, with it, you go to the championship and you keep it. There are jabs that knock you out, like Joe Louis, Sonny Liston, Foreman had a jab that knocked you out, and there are jabs that drove you crazy, like Ali. In any case, you needed the jab. Now, what a quiet round after the fierceness of that last. You would think Boudouani would have come out on a horse and run right after. And yet, quiet.
He's very hard to figure out. Really.
Yeah. I mean, he's got him. He has him on the run. He's tired. He's coming on with strong punches. And yet, peace and quiet reigns this round.
We said it earlier. He's inconsistent, at times lackadaisical.
Nice right hand by Jones, right on the button of Boudouani. Nice punch.
Boudouani missing with that right.
But look at Jones. He's always willing to punch from some strange angle and punching to the body and punching up. He's really putting on a little show here. I mean, he jabs with his right hand to the body. I mean, he does crazy things, and he's getting away with it. Here he's blown around, which should have been Boudouani's. Should have been. He should have chased him all over the place and brought this fight within range. Now it's really strange. Jones's round.
I want to remind you again, Evander Holyfield will defend his heavyweight titles against former heavyweight champ Henry Akinwande a week from tonight, June 6th at the Garden in New York, and you can see it live on pay-per-view.
Evander Holyfield is facing the biggest challenge of his career. Bigger than Riddick Bowe, bigger than George Foreman, bigger than Mike Tyson. Evander Holyfield has never stared down a bigger opponent. Holyfield versus Akinwande for the World Heavyweight Championship. Plus, Johnny versus Duran, Johnny Tapia, and Christy Martin. D-Day at the Garden, Saturday, June 6th, live on pay-per-view. Call your cable company.
Well, it's next Saturday at 9 Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, live on pay-per-view. We're at the Elegant Theater here at the Las Vegas Hilton. Steve Albert, the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco, and Jim Gray. That is Guillermo Jones as we enter the championship rounds. This is round 11. In their first fight, Boudouani had to win round 12 to gain a draw and retain his title. Tonight, he may need to win rounds 11 and 12. And even that may not be enough.
I've got him 4 points down, so therefore not even that would help, except for a knockdown or knockdowns in both rounds or knockout. But that doesn't seem likely, except anything is possible in boxing. And also the judges could be completely different than what we have.
Break! Step back, step back.
Oscar Perez of New York, Melchior Taylor of St. James, Trinidad, and Jerry Roth of Las Vegas are the judges in this fight.
I would be hard-pressed to see any reason in Boudouani winning this fight off of what we have just seen here. Boudouani could go home and call this how to eat a jab all night long and survive 12 rounds.
from the looks of things, it's going to be awfully tough to put Mr. Jones on the canvas.
Well, anything is possible.
You never know.
Anything is possible, as our friend Rocky Marciano used to say, and knocked everybody out when least expected.
As mentioned earlier, Jones never off his feet in 24 professional fights.
And this guy doesn't look like any Rocky Marciano. So what we have here is a possibility of changing hands of the title.
Well, that was a pretty good right there by Boudouani.
It was. Water sprayed off the punch, but look at it. Didn't seem to bother him.
No, it did. Durable chin by Jones. There's a left hook by Boudouani. Again, that stunned Jones just a second, but he has tremendous recuperative power.
Watch your head, watch your head.
Again, the headbutts.
Richard Steele cautioning. There's a good left hook by Boudouani to the chin of Jones.
Another good Boudouani round. Another good one. He should step up the action. He's got a minute. Step it up now.
Sensing things now. You see Jones with his mouth wide open again, which is a sign of fatigue. Can Boudouani take advantage? Boudouani looks a little tired himself now, just hanging on. But he has no choice. He's just got to keep coming on, pressing the attack as he's doing.
But Jones fights back even though it's not effective. He is fighting back, though. He's not effective.
He's so awkward and gangly. Continues to give Boudouani problems. Busy swarming all over the place. Look at this.
Don't hold him, Boy, step back.
As mentioned, like an octopus.
And he fights back. I mean, he's getting the worst of it. No question about it. Boudouani's winning the round, but he's fighting back.
Don't hold him.
Well, now's the time to press. No time. No time left.
Jones just doesn't stop throwing punches.
Good round for Boudouani, though. Good round. He finished big last time. He's going to finish big this time.
T'as besoin de te refaire là. Si on le descend pas, on est cuit. C'est pas ce mec-là qui va te prendre la ceinture.
It's not that kind of fighter who is going to take your title,
Tu peux te la
Laurent.
prendre, Laurent.
Come on.
C'est pas fini le round pour moi. Tu le démarres d'entrée. Il tient plus debout. Mais il
You
faut
have
qu'il
to
soit par
finish
terre.
him. He cannot stand
Autrement,
up
il est
anymore.
mort.
Come on, Laurent.
Je me méfie ici comme la peste. Et demain, qu'est-ce qu'on va dire?
You have to be careful. You know what happened
Laurent,
the
si tu
first
pouvais
fight,
pas,
so
je te
tomorrow
demanderai
it's
pas.
going to be too
Il faut
late.
qu'il soit par terre. Comptez 10.
Hay que atacar al hombre.
Cada una vez.
Hay que atacar al hombre. Velocidad.
You got to attack. You got to attack. You got to
Cintura se
attack. You
trae
got to
con
go
la
after him.
recta. Y con él hay que estar aquí, hay que tirar mano a mano. Y no se para los zurdos. ¿Ok?
Don't stand
Para la
left
cabeza,
hand. Go
para la cabeza,
at it
y
with
no se
both
para los
hands.
zurdos. Con él ahí hay que tirar más golpes.
You got to throw more punches. Stand with him. Stand with him.
Louis Acariz pulling out the Newt Rockney speech.
Nobody mentioned, if I was in his corner, I said, don't give him the 12th round like you did last time and walk out of here with a draw.
Here it is, 12th and final round for the championship. No one close to hitting the canvas except for that slip by Boudouani in round one, but that's what has to happen for the champion. He needs to knock down Guillermo Jones at least to keep his title for another day.
Well, I've got it 106 to 103. That's 3 points. Unless he knocks him out, there's nothing he can do for him. He's got to knock him out. Even knocking him down isn't going to help him.
And Guillermo Jones looking just to stay on the outside and keep his distance and to continue firing that effective jab.
Don't hold.
He just hit a nice right hand as Boudouani was coming in. That doubles the punch and makes you feel worse.
Punch to get out of there.
Rattles your back teeth. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jabs as Boudouani landed one over that. Whoa, nice duck underneath. See, as tall as he is, he's still ducking. You don't see big guys duck like that, use their body, upper body to duck. They usually don't.
Very agile and mobile for a guy that height, yeah. That gangly, awkward look anyway, but he's not. He's a great athlete.
He's outboxing him again. Now comes Boudouani.
Boudouani coming on. He is desperate, and he's landing to the head of Jones, but Jones with that tremendous chin, and then he'll fire back.
I don't know what Steele did just then. But
he didn't want Jones to hold Boudouani, which is what he was doing. Yeah. At the midway point of the final round.
Right.
Boy, they're clashing heads real hard. It's a miracle that there haven't been any cuts. There's a lot of scar tissue on Boudouani.
Break.
And Boudouani needs a miracle.
Yeah, 1 minute to go, and then he's going to have a lonely trip back to France if things are as scheduled. If not, let's see. 1 minute is a long time.
Boudouani, for the most part, puzzled and frustrated by the long, wiry Guillermo Jones. Stumbling around just a second. He got nailed.
He got nailed, and his feet did a number on him. I mean, he is punching back rather than running, and that could be a mistake because Boudouani seems tougher, stronger, and on the attack.
I hate to keep repeating myself, but this guy, Jones, with tremendous height and a great chin.
And he keeps fighting back and discombobulating Boudouani. Just when Boudouani's back to the attack, here comes those long arms back in your face. Or on your body. This guy punches everywhere, on your body, on your head.
We could see the passing of a torch here tonight with less than 20 seconds remaining in this WBA Junior Middleweight Championship fight.
Well, he didn't win this 12th round, not the way he did in last time. He did not sweep this.
Boudouani exhausted as we head for the final bell.
And that's it.
I got to go with Mr. Jones.
If we don't have Mr. Jones, somebody's getting crazy.
But we are in Las Vegas.
We are in the home of the mystical decisions.
Especially in a championship fight where it's so hard to take the title away. You never know. But in this corner, it looks like Jones. And he has good reason to smile. He fought a smart fight. Beautiful fight against the reigning champion, Laurent Boudouani.
Well, I have it 115 to 113
for Jones.
For Jones.
Both fighters exhausted. A lot of punches were thrown, mostly by this man. Mostly with the jab.
Well, this one he looks like he's on the verge of collapse. He comes back and punches and bunches again. You got to give him credit. He's certainly a conditioned fighter. He certainly said he was going to be strong, and he was strong.
And he's fun to watch. A busy, swarming fighter. Lots of movement. Throws a lot of punches. He starts fast. He's fast in the middle. He's fast at the end. He doesn't let up. He's relentless. And the crowd here at the theater in Las Vegas standing by for the decision. Let's take a look at some of the action here.
Take a look at this action as Boudouani coming on, trying whatever he can to knock him out, but he can't quite land. Look at those two huge misses. That takes a lot out of you. That's a miss. And in the meantime, Jones, when he is not doing much of anything, comes back and starts punching himself. Look, he punches to the body. He punches any place, but he lands. See, look at all the misses. Look at all the misses that desperation creates for Boudouani, yet Jones punches to the body, to the shoulders, anywhere he can land, and those are points.
And keep in mind, this a rematch, so there shouldn't have been any surprises for Laurent Boudouani. He knew what he was getting into once again. Yes, he said he was surprised by the great jab of Jones in the first fight, but he knew it to anticipate here in fight number 2, and yet he was still puzzled, still confused. So, as we said, though, anything goes in the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. You never know with the judges here. We thought it was Guillermo Jones, but let's see how the judges saw it. We're set to go to our man of the ring, Jimmy Lennon Jr. So, Jimmy, take it.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing here at the Las Vegas Hilton, we have a split decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Jerry Roth, scores about 116 to 112 in favor of Laurent Boudouani. Judge at ringside, Oscar Perez, scores about 117 to 111 in favor of Guillermo Jones. Judge at ringside, Melchior Taylor, scores about 115 to 113 in favor of the winner, and still WBA Junior Middleweight Champion, Laurent Boudouani.
Oh my, there's got to be an investigation.
Oh my.
That is putrid. Unbelievable.
Oh, the odor arising from that ring. Oh my.
This guy should thank his lucky stars. He ought to go right into the casino right now. The way his luck is going. Oh man, that was awful. Jerry Roth had a 116-112 Boudouani. Let's see.
Jones had a 117-111.
No. Melchior Taylor had a 115-113 Boudouani, and now go to the other guy. Oscar Perez had Jones winning it 117-111. He's the only guy who was right, Oscar. And the people at home voted the last 2 rounds to Boudouani, as you just saw, but unbelievable.
7-5.
Unbelievable
for Jones.
Yeah.
People at home
the
saw
folks
it
at
correctly.
home, yes, saw it correctly, and the judges here didn't.
Twice he came up. Twice he's been shafted by and strange performance. How could you win the title eating jabs?
Truck had it 116-114 for Jones, in case you're interested. Let's go to Jim Gray. This should be interesting. Jim Gray standing by. I can't wait to hear these post-fight comments in the ring by Boudouani and Jones. Take it away, Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Steve. I'm here with both fighters. Let's turn to you first, Guillermo. Can you believe that you lost this fight?
Then I think I don't lose this fight again. A new thief then give me, but I give thank God for I got my life.
You seem to be in total control of the fight. Do you feel as though you have been robbed, and do you feel this has happened to you for the second time now?
No, I think I control the fight.
You feel you control the fight?
Yeah. I think I win the fight. Then I don't know then.
Very disappointing, I'm sure, to have this happen again. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Let me bring in the champion, Laurent. Mr. Boudouani, did you feel as though you won this fight? And we'll have your translator.
Cette fois-ci, tu l'as gagné, le combat?
À mon avis, oui, hein?
Yes.
You did not feel that you lost maybe 6 or 7 of the first 6 or 7 rounds and that you needed a knockout?
Est-ce que tu penses pas que les 6 ou 7 premiers rounds, tu les as perdus et que tu avais besoin d'un knockout pour gagner?
J'avais vraiment... J'étais tendu. J'ai bien travaillé quand même, hein. J'ai pas pris trop de coups au départ. C'est vrai que j'ai cherché un peu l'efficacité, est-ce que j'avais quelque chose à prouver, mais il se déplace beaucoup, il est dur à attraper, il est grand. Avec ses grandes jambes, sur la distance, il est bon.
No, he's saying that, he was taking his time, because it's not the first time that he's fighting Guillermo Jones, so he has to take his time and he wants to be efficient, he just don't want to fight.
He seemed as though he was being jabbed at will and came on strong late. Wasn't he concerned at all that he was giving up valuable points early in the fight?
Il a dit, est-ce que tu penses pas qu'au début du combat, tu aurais pu donner, comme tu l'as fait à la fin, ta jab plus forte et plus dure? Pourquoi c'est pas sorti au début du combat?
C'est pas sorti au début parce que c'était un peu une tactique de travail. Il fallait les faire donner beaucoup de coups au départ pour essayer de les faire découvrir davantage, quoi.
No français.
He was saying that it was the technique, that they make with his brother Yves, at the gym, to make him getting tired at the beginning of the round. So like this, Laurent can make his job, after that.
Thank you both. Thank you very much.